Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live, and this is the final day of 2023. I'm your host and commentator for the afternoon, Craven Ferris. We have an absolute cracker of a game to wrap up this fantastic year of Premier League football. It's a London derby at Craven Cottage as Fulham host Arsenal with kick-off at 2 o'clock. We're going to start this afternoon by wrapping up this weekend's results so far from game week 20 of the Premier League. An absolute cracker of Premier League action yesterday. 6 games and goals galore in every single one of them, and a lot of storylines to talk about. We're going to talk about that right now with around about 13 minutes to go before kickoff at Craven Cottage. We're going to start with the lunchtime kickoff yesterday at Kenilworth Road, where the dramatic game didn't look like it was going to be a dramatic game around about 70 minutes into the game when Chelsea went 3-0 up, but Luton made it an entertaining game. Cole Palmer got a brace for Chelsea yesterday. He's really hit a really good run of form for Chelsea in recent times. A brace for him. And Noni Madueke, who scored the winner in Chelsea's last game against Crystal Palace at home. He got the second to give Chelsea a 2-goal lead in that one. Cole Palmer then made it 3 in the second half, 20 minutes before time, before Luton out of somewhere tried to conjure up a comeback. Elijah Adebayo had a goal disallowed in the 76th minute through VAR. Then Luton did find their goal. Ross Barkley, the former Chelsea man, opened the scoring for Luton and got them a goal back into the game in hopes of maybe a comeback. That was in the 80th minute. Then the 87th minute, Elijah Adebayo got a second goal for Luton, but it wasn't enough to kick them on to get the point out of that one. In the end, but Luton did have a very, very strong end to the game. They completely dominated the last 10 minutes of that game. Chelsea in a commanding position at 3-0, and Luton made it anything but convincing in the end for the Blues. And Mauricio Pochettino, certainly not the result he was wanting. A win indeed, but certainly not the way he would have wanted to win that game, especially considering they were 3-0 up in that one. A very indifferent end to the game, and Luton actually had more shots than Chelsea on the day and a better XG. Luton's XG was 2.53 to Chelsea's 1.5, so based on the chances they created, Luton should have won that game. To a game where Aston Villa, the home team, did win, and a very tight game in the end here. Very different to the game between Luton and Chelsea in the end. It was back and forth between these two teams. Leon Bailey opened the scoring for Villa. Just 3 minutes later, Zeki Amdouni levelled it for Burnley to get their goal to level it at 1-1 before Moussa Diaby put Villa 2-1 up just before half time. It went from bad to worse really for Burnley in the second half as Sander Berg got a second yellow card, which brought them down to 10. But it didn't seem to affect them much because Lyle Foster got another equaliser for Burnley to level it at 2-2 20 minutes from time before Douglas Luiz, an 89th minute penalty, sealed the 3 points for Aston Villa. A much needed 3 points after that defeat last time out to Manchester United, coming from 2-0 up to lose 3-2. Well, they held on and got 3-2 result this afternoon or yesterday at home, and that put them joint top of the Premier League, level on points with Liverpool before Liverpool play on New Year's Day. The other four games then that we're looking towards, Crystal Palace got back to winning ways after defeat to Chelsea at the week. In the week, they are back to winning ways against Brentford in another London derby. Goals from Two goals from Michael Olise and Ebere Eze got the 3-pointer. Palace. Keane Lewis Potter actually put Brentford 1-0 up in that game just 2 minutes into the game, but it was all Palace after that, and that was the result in the end. Palace getting the 3 points, which moves them up the table and further away from that relegation zone, but Brentford edging ever closer to that relegation zone now. 5 straight defeats. Brighton, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Wolves and now Crystal Palace. And next up for Brentford is an FA Cup tie with Wolves before they host Nottingham Forest in the new year. To a more comfortable win, another comfortable win for Manchester City. The world champions completely dominated this game against Sheffield United. 81% of the ball and 2 goals in the end for Manchester City. Rodri and Julian Alvarez to get the 2. That gave Man City another win in the Premier League, their 12th of the season, which puts them up to 3rd in the Premier League and only 2 points off league leaders Liverpool, with the same number of games played between Liverpool and Manchester City. So still a very tight title race. And Wolves got a very good home win and a clean sheet at home. Back-to-back big wins for Wolves against some tough sides, beating Brentford. Actually, 3 wins on the bounce, beating Chelsea a few weeks ago on Christmas Eve, then winning away at Brentford, and then coming back home and destroying Everton 3-0 on the day. Max Kilman, Mateus Cunha and Craig Dawson, the goal scorers, to give Wolves a 3-0 win at Molineux. And the final game, which is probably the most exciting of the games, Nottingham Forest completely destroying Manchester United. They dominated that game. Forest were all over Manchester United in that one, and no real hope for Erik ten Hag at this moment in time. After that comeback, another false dawn, as Bruno Fernandes put it in the week against Aston Villa, that they haven't turned the corner yet, Manchester United, and they're still very vulnerable to these type of results. Nicolas Dominguez opened the scoring. Marcus Rashford equalised after a Matt Turner mistake from the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, but Morgan Gibbs-White, minutes after that, put Forest back in front and got them the 3 points. Their first win over Manchester United in the Premier League since 1994, and their first ever home win in the Premier League against Manchester United. Well, 6 games down, as you can see, and 4 to go, and we have 3 of them live on LFS this weekend. So let's have a look and see what's still to come. Exciting games still to come, as you can see. There are 4 games for the Premier League, and 3 of which will be live. Of course, the live commentary of this London derby, Fulham against Arsenal. Spurs and Bournemouth is also kicking off at the same time this afternoon at 2 o'clock from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Then on New Year's Day 2024 gets off to a cracking start. Liverpool against Newcastle from Anfield, before we wrap up match day 20 with West Ham against Brighton on Tuesday night. So ahead of this game then at Craven Cottage, around about 6 minutes to kick off. Let's have a look at the LFS pre-match stats then for this game, because this is certainly one to look forward to. Some storylines to come out of this one. Well, Fulham have won 3 out of the 33 Premier League meetings with Arsenal, and all of their wins against Arsenal have come at Craven Cottage, which will be good news and good kind of stat for the Fulham fans to hear this afternoon. Arsenal, however, have won 12 times away to Fulham, and the last 2 at Craven Cottage ended 3-0 to the Gunners. Pretty comfortable on their last 2 visits. But Arsenal weren't pretty comfortable in their last fixture with Fulham this season, a 2-2 draw back in August at the Emirates. Fulham getting a very good result. That's the 7th draw in 33 games between the two sides over the years. Right, so kick-off from Craven Cottage is a couple of minutes away. 5 minutes to go before we get New Year's Eve Premier League action underway. Do join us. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live on LFS this New Year's Eve with me, Craven Ferris. It's a London derby at Craven Cottage to round off 2023 in the Premier League. Arsenal are looking to head back to the top of the Premier League table this afternoon with a win and looking for a return to winning ways after their home defeat to West Ham on Thursday night. To the teams, and Fulham start with Bird Leno in goal, the former Arsenal goalkeeper. A back four of Timothy Castagne, Tosin Adarabioyo, Calvin Bassey and Anthony Robinson. A midfield of João Palhinha and Tom Kearney, the captain, with an attack of Alex Iwobi, Bobby De Cordova-Reid, Willian and Raul Jimenez. Fulham looking to score for the first time in 4 Premier League games. Arsenal, on the other hand, they start with David Raya in goal, a back four of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Jakub Kiwior comes in at left back. A midfield of Declan Rice, Kai Havertz and captain Martin Odegaard, with a front three of Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah leading the line, with Gabriel Jesus on the bench. The benches are as follows: Fulham, Rodak, Tete, Diop, Balotelli, Lukic, Reid, Pereira, Wilson and Muniz. With Arsenal's bench looking like this: Ramsdale, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Jorginho, Elneny, Smith Rowe, Trossard, Nelson and Gabriel Jesus. It's Fulham against Arsenal, with both desperate for a win. Who will take the points on a cold New Year's Eve on the banks of the River Thames in the capital? Kick-off from Craven Cottage is on the way next. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live again as we're ready for kick-off here at Craven Cottage. Another London derby for Arsenal to try and get the 3 points, and they failed miserably at it against West Ham on Thursday night. They'll be looking for a rebound to head into 2024 at the summit of the Premier League and looking for another kind of good run that they haven't been on as of recent times. We'll talk all about that throughout the game. Fulham in their traditional white and black home kit, and Arsenal in their third kit this afternoon of a slight green colour for them, in which their captain Martin Odegaard will be getting us underway here at Craven Cottage momentarily. Our referee this afternoon is Peter Banks, so he will blow the whistle and will get us going in this London derby then at Craven Cottage. Fulham don't have good memories in recent times against Arsenal at home. They'll be hoping that they can turn their recent poor form around and lack of goals and turn that into a positive performance and a positive result this afternoon against the Gunners, who themselves seem to be coming under a bit of pressure and not really striding their way through the pressure at this moment in time. Don't forget as well, Tottenham against Bournemouth is also underway at the same time as us, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Any goals and any updates from that, we'll let you know. Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 0 just kicked off as well. Here's Jakub Kivior, who comes in at left back this afternoon for the injured Oli Zinchenko. All the way back to David Raya. To Gabriel. No, wasn't Arsenal's best night defensively on Thursday night. I mean, the set piece, incredible goal by Mavropanos, but I mean, in the end, Arsenal just struggled to really break down the West Ham defence, and West Ham really held firm and worked ever so hard. David Moyes' first ever win at the Emirates as a manager, or away at Arsenal as a manager, I should say. Here's Bukayo Saka. Back to Ben White. Nice Saliba. Well, Jakub Kivior, he started at left back. He's taken this inverted role, someone similar that Alexander Zinchenko takes up in that kind of midfield. Here's Nketiah. Gets it to Rice. Arsenal trying to move the ball quickly. Ben White finds it to Odegaard. Nice Saka on the right hand side. Up against Robinson. His first real battle with the Fulham left back. Has to cut it back to Ben White, who goes back to Saliba. Rice through the lines, trying to find Odegaard. Battling with Robinson. Having to battle with two players there, Anthony Robinson. Willian trying to help out, but Odegaard wins it back and strikes just wide from the Arsenal captain. Not too far away there, but it was really good initially from Arsenal from Odegaard and Saka to both be very physical with Anthony Robinson and win the ball and keep the pressure on the Fulham defence. But in the end, the initial strike from Martin Odegaard just goes wide of that left post. Not massively far away, but not perfect at his standards. Fulham have it back here with Castagna. Now Alex Iwobi didn't make the pass the first time. Will get a second shot at it and has to go back to Calvin Bassey. Kearney. Bassey again. Quick movement from Fulham and quick passing. Of course, as I mentioned in the opener about Fulham's recent form, I mean, no goals in their last 3 Premier League games. And that was after after back-to-back 5-0 wins over Nottingham Forest and West Ham prior to that. So they know how to score goals, but it seems when they do score goals, they seem to score a hat full of them. Here's Willian. It's when they're on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. Willian, lovely ball forward. Castagna's made the run. Byline cuts it across, but straight into the hands of David Raya, who completely anticipated that, and Arsenal on the break now. Martinelli down the left hand side. There's space to run into. Works it into the box. Bodies in the box. Goes himself. And the deflection of Bukayo Saka from the save forces it in for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka gets the Gunners going and gets them into a lead. Gabriel Martinelli strike parried away by Bernd Leno, the former Arsenal goalkeeper, into the path of Bukayo Saka, and he had the easiest job in the world to just tap it home and give Arsenal a 1-goal lead. And he is... oh, it might be tight actually. I'll see this again because Martinelli takes the strike. Saka might be on the verge of offside. We'll see. VAR will check it, of course, but it will be a tight decision. Might have to get the lines out here. VAR Paul Tierney will have a quick look at this to make sure that all is okay for Arsenal's goal. Well, we're ready to restart. And the goal is given. So a quick check by Paul Tierney confirms that Saka was onside and there was no kind of infringement there. Saka gets his 6th Premier League goal of the season, and the Gunners are back on the score sheet. Fulham looking to respond quickly. Continues Fulham's dismal run at home against Arsenal in recent years. I mean, the last time Fulham won against Arsenal at home was back in January 2012, so that's almost 12 years ago, when Arsenal were down to 10 in that one, and Fulham won 2-1 on that day. Since then, Arsenal have won all of the last 5 meetings at Craven Cottage and only conceded 2 goals in that time, in 3-1 and 5-1 wins. That's 3 clean sheets in their last 5 visits to Craven Cottage, and looking to make it 6 wins on the bounce on this ground. They have an early lead to help them do so. Here's Tussin. Calvin Bassey. Back to Tussin. Castagna made the run up the right-hand side. Back infield to Cordova-Reid. Linking up with Jimenez. Castagna. Back to Palhinha. Tussin now. Spotted the space through the middle. Gives it back to Bassey. Now out wide to Willian. Looking for options. Closely followed all the way by Ben White is Willian. Linking up with Kearney. Back to Willian. Lots of cover on that left-hand side for Arsenal. Rice and Saka stepping in to help out Ben White. Here's Castagna. Cordova-Reid down the right, trying to change their tactic. Fulham and Jakub Kiwior, well matched, puts it out for the Fulham throw-in. Castagna's to take the throw-in. All the way back to Iwobi. Now Tussin. Bassey. Kearney back to Calvin Bassey. Castagna trying to thread a through ball there, but just miscued that one. And David Raya could collect quite comfortably in his own box. I mean, look at Arsenal's recent form. I mean, it's not the worst in the world, but if you look at their last 4 Premier League games, only 1 win in the last 4 league games. 2 defeats in that time against West Ham and Aston Villa, and in that draw to Liverpool as well, which, to be fair, might be a good result. But from the last 4, I mean, there seems to be a chink in the armour of Arsenal recently, but I mean, maybe they have pulled through it, and maybe they have been able to recover. As it stands, with them winning, they will head back to the top of the Premier League, and Liverpool will have the chance to respond tomorrow at home to Newcastle, of course. We will watch that one live here on LFS. And 9 minutes gone here at Craven Cottage, and it's been all Arsenal really in terms of the attacking opportunities. Fulham have had more of the ball, but so far that's not made much of a impact for the home side. Kiwior, ball down the left to Martinelli with a cross straight into the hands of Bernd Leno. It was curling towards the keeper all the way from that left hand flank and into the hands of Bernd Leno. A goal to tell you about at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Thursday night wasn't a good night for North London teams. Well, New Year's Eve certainly looks to be something different. Arsenal 1 up, and so are Tottenham. And it's Pap Sarr with the goal to give Spurs a lead in that one against Bournemouth. 1-0 to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Another question about Spurs. I mean, that defeat to Brighton. I mean, Brighton can beat anyone on their day, but to lose by such a significant margin. I mean, 4-0 down at one point against Brighton for Spurs. Questions. I mean, I wouldn't say questions were starting to appear for Ange, but I mean, a big shock, something that nobody would have predicted that. But there you go. The Premier League for you. Here's Gabriel. Nice through ball. Finds Odegaard. Picked up that pocket of space. Gives it to Rice. Now Ben White. Fulham closing down. Rice. Nice. Saka's more central. Stolen away from him by Iwobi. Here is Alex Iwobi. Pressed upon there by Jakob Kivior, and then the foul by Gabriel on Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Fulham free kick. A good press initially by Calvin Bassey. Puts the pressure on, gets the ball to Alex Iwobi, and then Fulham do well whenever they come under pressure to win the free kick and keep the possession. I mean, the last 3 games is officially Fulham's worst run of the season. They have not been on a run this bad since back at the start of November, and when they'd lost 3 out of 4 games in the Premier League, considering the ones they played. I mean, Manchester United, Aston Villa and Liverpool were their 3 defeats in 4. This is their worst run. 3 defeats in a row without scoring for Fulham. 3-0 to Newcastle, 2-0 to Burnley, and then 3-0 to Bournemouth. And arguably, Bournemouth and Burnley, teams Fulham would feel that they should be beating in the Premier League at least. But not the case. David Raya goes long, well headed away by Castagna. De Cordova-Reid following up, taken down beautifully by Iwobi, but couldn't get past Gabriel. He fires it forward. Away by Tosin. Gabriel with a header again. Brought down by Martinelli. Clipped up by Palhinha, and he wins the ball back. And all the way back to Bernd Leno. Better from Fulham. Here's Bassey. Looking for the run of Anthony Robinson. Jimenez was trying to help out, but overhead his pass. And that will run out for a throw-in, but actually Raul Jimenez was coming back from an offside position, so it's an Arsenal free kick in the end. Getting involved with a bit of singing. Arsenal have a very strong bench today. Whenever the team news came out, I was a bit surprised, but Eddie Nketiah was starting up front. So far we've not seen much of him, but clearly that was an enforced change. One that wanted to make a statement maybe from Mikel Arteta. And there's a lot of talk about Arsenal not being as kind of ruthless in front of goal and as kind of free-flowing in terms of their scoring abilities this season. They're much more solid at the back, but they're not winning games by massive margins like they were last season. Willian, lovely move by Fulham. Anthony Robinson down the left-hand side, puts it across, and the strike from Jimenez at the edge of the box. Had Raya dive into his left and had to make the save. The Arsenal keeper, lovely move down the left-hand side. Kearney to Willian. Willian plays it onto the overlap, and Anthony Robinson puts a first-time cross in to the edge of the box, and Raul Jimenez trying to kind of measure one and get it past David Raya, but really good for the Arsenal keeper to get down to his left. But again, a very, very good attack from Fulham there. Still very threatening. Rice, Saka, nice turn and spin, and tried to take it away from Calvin Bassey. In the process, fouled. Free kick to Arsenal. It's actually Eddie Nketiah that was fouled. Coming deeper that time, Nketiah. Trying to get involved and help out with the Arsenal attack, of course. And talk about Arsenal, as I was saying, about their attack this season. I mean, they're spreading out the goals between them. No one in the Arsenal side has double figures or close to that in terms of Premier League terms. Eddie Nketiah has 5 Premier League goals. Bukayo Saka with 6 from Arsenal, of course, after that goal that he scored in this game. But unlike last season, Arsenal don't have that golden boot chaser. Martinelli with a cross, looking for a squeeze one into the Fulham box, and that's a push on Cordova-Reid there by Gabriel to win the ball back, and that will be a free kick to Fulham. But I mean, look at the other types of teams in the Premier League. I mean, City, Liverpool, Bournemouth, West Ham, Spurs, Wolves, Aston Villa, Newcastle. They all have players and strikers that are up there getting the goals. I mean, Arsenal at the moment don't have that striker that's in form. I mean, Bukayo Saka is now their top goal scorer in the league. Eddie Nketiah follows close behind with 5. Then you have Kai Havertz on 4, and Odegaard on 4, and Jesus on 3. So Arsenal certainly spreading the goals between the players, but they need that striker that can get them more than that. Here's a good run by Castagna. Deep cross, too high for Willian. Saka can't carry it away though. Bassi gets a good header, brought down by Robinson. All the way pushed back into their own half there, Fulham, from the edge of the Arsenal box. But they keep the ball, and that's what matters. And they can go again. Bassi. Back to Bernardino. Coming back into the middle is Kearney. Willian. Bassi again. 17 minutes gone. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Bukayo Saka, the difference. His goal, the difference. That's lovely interchange of play. And now here's Kearney to carry the ball forward for Fulham. Willian down the left. Driving in field and has nowhere to go. There, Willian, and the ball's won back by White. Odegaard. Saka now. Trying to get transition from midfield to attack, but Anthony Robinson there to break it away. Here's Jimenez. Trying to thread it through for Iwobi on the edge of the box there, but again Arsenal have bodies in the way, and Fulham stifled once again. Havertz to Odegaard to Rice. Well, despite that, as I was mentioning about Arsenal not having incredible kind of numbers in terms of their forwards this season, they do have a good goals tally. 37 goals they've scored. They're 6th in the league in terms of amount of goals scored. Teams above them, I'll tell you about that in a moment, as Jimenez has got the ball here, spreads it for Iwobi, just a bit overhit there from Jimenez, but Iwobi still has it on the right hand side. Cross into the box, and Jimenez was just away from it. Here's Willian. Oh, just wide from Willian. Wide of that right post, but again, better from Fulham. Making the runs, finding the spaces, and really good delivery from Alex Iwobi here. Just missed by Jimenez. It falls to Willian on the left hand side, chops onto his right, looks to find the far corner, but doesn't get enough curl on the ball, and it goes wide for a goal kick. But again, still threatening there, Fulham. Still causing this Arsenal side a few problems. And Willian, the architect there, and the main threat for Fulham so far. But they do look much more competent in terms of their attacking play. That looks a bit more fluid than it has done for Fulham. The last goal they scored was in the League Cup game away at Goodison Park, where they actually won that on penalties in the end. That was the last official goal that they scored. Fulham. Oh, caught on the ball there was Tosin, but he got away with it. Here's Cordova-Reid. Piling the bodies forward, but Arsenal have the bodies back to cover. Bassi. Palhinha. To Tosin. Looking for options. Has to go back to Bassi. Here's Tom Kearney. patience from Fulham. Just playing the ball around on the halfway line there. As I was saying, for Arsenal, the 5 teams above them in terms of goals scored, Brighton, Liverpool, Spurs, Aston Villa and Manchester City, have all scored more, 3 of which have over 40 goals, 40 or more in this season. So not much of a big difference, but there is a difference. Given away by Arsenal again. Mistake at the back from Saliba. Willian's shot was blocked. Iwobi with a follow-up that's blocked, and a deflection will carry it wide for the corner. The referee this afternoon is actually Josh Smith. I've just saw the referee and thought, that's not Peter Banks. Josh Smith. Fulham actually wanted a penalty, I think. I mean, don't know what they're asking. No, it's not a penalty. It's what? Oh, well. I mean, he does clip him, Saliba, but I don't think there's enough in that. Corner it will be to Fulham then. Willian on the right-hand side. Fulham having probably their best spell of the game. Willian with a cross right the way in and over the bar by Raul Jimenez. Got the first contact on it. But that contact will be one to forget for Raul Jimenez. Made the run across the face of all the Arsenal players. Has got there ahead of everyone. But just blasted it over the bar and behind for a goal kick. It's still 1-0 to Spurs, by the way, at home against Bournemouth, but they're having the majority of the chances, having the majority of the possession as well, but Bournemouth do look threatening against Spurs. Still 1-0. Here's Saka for Arsenal. On the edge of the box, right hand side, delivery with the left, looking for Nketiah, headed away. Iwobi loses the ball off by Kivior. Gabriel. Now Declan Rice. Right to Saka on the right, up against Robinson, plays it on. Odegaard made the run beyond. Closely followed by Calvin Bassey. And then they're going to stop the game because the Arsenal keeper, David Raya, is asking for some treatment. So looks like his eye is the issue. So he'll receive a bit of treatment. It's enough time to tell you. Don't forget NFL action here on New Year's Eve. This evening from 6 o'clock we have a real clash in the AFC. The Dolphins, the 2nd seed, and Ravens, the top seed in the AFC, go face it off in Baltimore. And all the scores on Goal Zone. That's tonight, 6 o'clock on LFS. Looking forward to that one. Really looking forward to that. This evening, and as you mentioned, 2 more Premier League games to come to start 2024, of course, to round off match week 20. Liverpool against Newcastle from Anfield tomorrow night, and that's New Year's Day, the evening of that, 8 o'clock tomorrow. And then West Ham against Brighton on Tuesday, the 2nd of January, at 7:30 in the evening. I'm just seeing a replay of that goal. I mean, I don't think Arsenal could say that it's one of their best goals, but Bukayo Saka, you have to be there, and some would say a tap-in merchant, but he's certainly not that. Bukayo Saka, it's a poacher's goal. It's an incredible kind of anticipation. Knew the keeper was going to try and parry it, and was there waiting to tap it in. Really smart forward play by Bukayo Saka, and he benefited and got the 6th goal of the season for him. Well, since that goal, Arsenal haven't had a shot in the game. Fulham have had 4, 1 on target. Arsenal haven't had a shot, and Fulham, by the way, have had 60% of the ball, so more of the ball as well. So Fulham certainly responded to that Arsenal opener, and have responded the better of the 2 teams. Here's Gabriel. Saliba. Declan Rice. Ben White, back to Saliba, now to Gabriel, looking for options, gives it out wide to Martinelli, who comes a bit deeper. He has to go all the way back to Saliba. Now Declan Rice, White. Well, Fulham themselves are looking to keep themselves out of that possible relegation conversation. I mean, it'd be a bit excited for that. I mean, even if they do lose today, and there will be 6 points clear of third bottom Luton in the Premier League. Fulham will be 14th, and there'll be 3 teams between them: Forest, Brentford, and Everton. All between Fulham, but they'll want to get that completely out of their minds and look up the table. With a win this afternoon, they can go up to 13th and be a point behind Bournemouth, who are currently losing, and try and bridge that gap to the kind of the teams in the upper bottom half or the top half of the Premier League table. They're starting to break away, and Wolves and Chelsea starting to break away. Both got wins this weekend and are looking to kind of escape from that bottom half of the table, those two teams, and kind of join the top teams, Chelsea and Wolves. Fulham will want to try and join in on that, but at the minute they're on course for their 11th defeat of the season in 20 games, which I'm sure is certainly something that Marco Silva will want to improve. But here's Saka. Arsenal have a chance. Tried to play the ball through to Kai Havertz, but just over that one. Bukayo Saka in it. Nicely gathered by Bernd Leno to recover the ball for Fulham. A ball out from the back. Robinson will gather it on the left hand side, looking for an early cross, and will win a throw in off Ben White there, Anthony Robinson. Throw in from Robinson. Kearney. Back to Bassey. Fulham certainly dominating the ball as of recent times, as we've seen. Since that goal, they've had more of the ball, but they look more comfortable on it. They've grown into the game, certainly. And despite going behind, they've still started very positively, considering their recent form. Kearney almost got on the ball. Find Willian. Got him out of danger there. Tosin. Iwobi. And a thread it through. Iwobi, they're trying to win it back off their Arsenal, but again, Arsenal a bit dazed at the moment. It's slow to try and recover the ball, and Fulham get there and have it back. Leno. Tosin. To Iwobi. Under pressure from Rice. Spreads it wide. Tried to find Robinson, but underhit that one, and Arsenal tried to win it back through Saka, but give it away, and now Willian can break down the left. Ball forward. Kearney's made the run. Kearney with a cross deep. Jimenez! Fulham do get back on level terms. Their first goal in 3 Premier League games, and it gets the equaliser against Arsenal. Their first goal against the Gunners on this ground in, well, quite a while, since 2018. And they get the leveller through Raul Jimenez. Arsenal had the ball up the pitch. Saka well won back by, I think it was Bassey. Ball down the line, finds Willian. Kearney with a lovely cross. Beats the 2 Arsenal defenders right to the back post. And it's a lovely sweeping finish by Raul Jimenez with his right. Find the back of the net. No chance for David Raya. And that's a really good response from Fulham. They've been the better team since Arsenal took the lead, and now they have the goal to show for it. Fulham won, Arsenal won, and it's most certainly game on at Craven Cottage. Well, there you go. And that's really kind of certainly what Fulham need in this game. His 5th goal in 7 appearances. Raul Jimenez, so certainly getting in the goals. In good form himself. His team aren't in good form, but he is. And when he shows up, he causes issues for oppositions. Raul Jimenez. I mean, in those 5-0 wins, Raul Jimenez scored 3 out of the 10 goals. 1 against West Ham and 2 against Forest. So he knows how to find the back of the net. Does Raul Jimenez. That's a foul there by Fulham. Castagna this time penalised by referee Josh Smith for that challenge on Gabriel Martinelli. He's holding his shin here, Martinelli, after this challenge. I mean, yeah, he gets nowhere near the ball, Timothy Castagna. Doesn't get any of the ball. Martinelli does well, takes it on his opposite foot and then knows the challenge is coming from the left-hand side and does really, really well to win the free kick. Saliba. Now it's time for Arsenal to respond. They took the lead. They couldn't kind of build upon that. Fulham get the leveller. Now Arsenal need to try and find the lead again. But so far, if the momentum is with Fulham, but Arsenal can change that. Martinelli, now Ødegaard. Saka in the box. Just clipped away from it by Robinson. Ødegaard picks it up. Away from Nketiah. And now Iwobi trying to get Fulham forward, and a crunching challenge on Raul Jimenez there by William Saliba, I think that was. And that will be a free kick to Fulham. And it was Saliba. The crunching challenge comes flying in. This comes barging in at him. And kind of leads with his shoulder rather than with his foot, Saliba. And it is a bit of a late challenge there. It's a crunching one. But Fulham can't make much of it. Tosin's ball forward. Back into the hands of Raya. Arsenal on the ball again. White. Gabriel. As already mentioned, time for Arsenal to try and respond. Here's Ødegaard, gives it wide to Saka. Saka up against Robinson. Trying to turn him inside out. Gives it infield to Ødegaard. Now Havertz found a pocket of space. Gives it over to Gabriel Martinelli on the left. Doubled up on. Gives it back to Kivior on the edge. Now Rice. Looking to try and work the ball still, Arsenal. Reluctant to take a shot from distance. Martinelli on the left again. Up against Decordova-Reid. Deep cross. Saka keeps it in. There was a jeer there. They thought they'd overhit that. And it comes to nothing in the end for Arsenal. Saka's header back into the mix. Well dealt with by Fulham. And Leno gets the catch. But the cross from Martinelli. He put the cross in and the Fulham home fans jeered it. They thought it was going out. Saka done really well to keep it in. Ødegaard trying to battle, but Kearney gets in the way and gets it back to his keeper. Well dealt with there by the Fulham captain. Inside his own box. Not allowing Arsenal to have a clean shot at goal. And that's will frustrate Mikel Arteta. That's what I mean by them not being as free-flowing in front of goal. In Arsenal of last season, when they took the lead, they almost always capitalised upon it and got the second. And it took advantage of their dominance and their lead. Well, so far this season, they just don't look comfortable. Even when they are leading in games, quite comfortably leading, they still don't look like they're going to convincingly win. And I mean, we've seen it since the very start of the season for Arsenal in the Premier League. I mean, bring you all the way back to, you know, the game against Forest at the start of the season. It was a 2-1 win. Very tight game. Palace away, tight game. Fulham, close game. They dropped points. The United game, on a balance. Man United were winning that one. Arsenal came back and ended up winning it in the end after the goal was ruled out. So tight games for Arsenal to start the season. Let's continue this in a moment. Here's Jimenez at the byline on the right hand side. Cuts it back to Iwobi all the way back. And then, you know, the first time that Arsenal had won by more than a one goal, kind of a one goal margin was Manchester United, but convincingly winning when it was threatening was a 4-0 win against Bournemouth away from home. That took them 7 games, whereas last season they were destroying teams from the outset. They were absolutely blowing teams away. I mean, they've only scored a hatful of goals twice this season. I mean, Bournemouth 4-0 and 5-0 against Sheffield United, which to be honest, let's be real. Those are the teams they should be beating, but I mean, even in the games they should be winning at home, they're just not as convincing as what they were last season. I mean, I remember some very big wins last season at home, but at times they were unconvincing. But I just think they're more solid defensively, but they've kind of given up a bit of attacking display because of that. And last season they used to be like proper arrows, just flying forward, a lot of them, finding the spaces, putting balls in, having shots at goal. They were pummeling defences, but this season they just look a bit flat when they get on the counter-attack at times, Arsenal. And when teams get bodies back quickly, they just run out of ideas, and they can repeat and repeat and repeat the same kind of measurements and the same kind of scenario over and over again. That seems to be a problem. They can't switch up their play. They can't offer something different. They can't kind of surprise a team with something different. They always know that you know what you're going to get with Arsenal when they attack. You know, they come forward, Odegaard breaking through the lines, trying to find the wide options, and a Martinelli or a Saka. Then they try and link it up with maybe an overloading fullback, or kind of a cut back and a cross, or Arsenal's kind of attacks are very well documented now, and it's all about switching it up, and that was why I was a bit hesitant about them winning the league this season. When I made my predictions at the start of the season, they had strengthened, but I thought, Arsenal, I don't think they've kicked on enough. But then again, I mean, they win this one, they're top of the Premier League table, so it's fine margins, but in the end, who knows? I mean, it could benefit Arsenal in the end, having loads of close games and winning games when you're not at your best, but usually that does win league titles, but they've done that multiple times last season. They just don't want it to become a habit. Cross from Saka is overhit and out wide for a Fulham throw-in. Because at times last season it became a habit of them going behind and coming back in games, or having a tight game where they just don't hold on. This season they're able to be more defensively solid, but at times when they're not on it, they're not on it. I mean, Aston Villa done a number on Arsenal. They were absolutely fantastic against Arsenal, Aston Villa. They were dominated in the game, but what they did was they took the West Ham approach. Counter-attack. Villa knew that they were good on the counter-attack. They knew they were threatening. They knew they had the ability. They knew they had the quality of the players. And it's not a surprise that the last two Arsenal defeats, they failed to score on the opposition of taking a counter-attacking approach. I mean, West Ham had very, very, very little in that game against Arsenal on Thursday night. I mean, they had 26% of the ball, David Moyes' team. Only 3 shots on target, but they 2 goals. So, it's David Moyes to a T, really. It seems to be a similar theme. Arsenal can't struggle against teams that allow them to have the possession and allow them to have more control on the ball, but struggle to really defend them on the counter-attack. Well, they have a free kick here, Arsenal. Odegaard inside the Fulham half. Left-footed. Lifts it over the top. Headed away by Tosin. Martinelli with a strike. Deflected, and Robinson tries to get it away, but only puts his defence under pressure. Lovely from Jimenez, though. Wins it back. And denies Arsenal a chance at a corner. And then they win the free kick there, Fulham, for the foul by Bukayo Saka on the Fulham defender, which will give Fulham a bit of a reprieve. But that is incredible from Raul Jimenez. I mean, it is a bit of a shove in the back of Bukayo Saka in the end, really. But the referee didn't give it. The assistant didn't give it. Fulham did well. And defend by whatever which means. Burnley now taking the free kick, goes long up the left-hand side. Ben White wins the first header. Robinson there to win the second challenge, and high boot, it seems, on Eddie Nketiah. Will be a free kick to Arsenal on the halfway line. Eddie Nketiah is just relaying that to the referee at the minute. See the replay. It's not a high boot. He kind of connects with his knee, and Eddie Nketiah, it is a foul, but Nothing more than that. 40 minutes gone. Fulham 1, Arsenal 1. It's kind of ebbed and flowed, this game, in the first half. Arsenal had the better of the early chances, took the lead through Saka. Then Fulham had responded, had a very good spell in the game, got their equaliser through Jimenez, and then since then it's been kind of 50-50 the game. Both sides have been in it, but I would still say Fulham look the more threatening of the two teams at the minute. They look more fluid in attack, which is quite ironic considering their recent scoring form, as I've mentioned quite a number of times. But it is important. Although that was a poor bit of play there. Castagna puts it straight out of play. Tried to find Alex Iwobi on the sideline, but not accurate at all there. Well, the man who was dropped, Gabriel Jesus, is warming up on the sidelines, not coming onto the field imminently or anything, but if it stays like this in the second half, I'm sure we'll see him join the fray at some point. No doubt, I'm sure. And do stay with us at half-time. We'll talk through the stats, we'll talk through the first half moments. We'll also get a look ahead to the new year, what we've got coming up on LFS over the new year in 2024, January and February. We've planned out already, and we have some exciting games to come over those months as well for you, so do stay tuned. I will tell you about that. And also, in around about 20 minutes' time, we have our best of 2023. But here's Arsenal! And just wide by Martinelli. Really good move down the right-hand side. I'll tell you about this now. Saka gets on the inside of Robinson, linking it up with Odegaard. Plays it across. And the return ball to Gabriel Martinelli. Really good link up with Rice. Odegaard gets it to Martinelli on the edge of the box and takes a strike, trying to find the bottom left corner. Drags it wide. Does Gabriel Martinelli, but 20 minutes and we'll have the best of 2023, all the best moments of LFS over 2023, all the best goals and reactions. You'll know some of them. And so that's at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so I will lead you there. Although, you can watch that afterwards. You know, lots of time. It's New Year's Eve, no one's really doing much on New Year's Eve at this time. Here's Jakub Kiwior. .43 minutes gone. 1-1. Arsenal looking to have the stronger of the end of the half out of the two teams. But not if they play passes like that and give it away. Tosin fires it towards Iwobi. Finds it to Decordova-Reid now, but his pass is a bit miscued, but Palhinha couldn't recover it. Now Havertz on the break. Odegaard tried to find the ball forward, Odegaard, but well challenged there by Iwobi. Breaking forward himself now. Here is Alex Iwobi on the halfway line. Kearney. Now Willian. Maybe Fulham could have the better of it at the end of this half. Robinson. Trying to find Kearney. Robinson tries to recover it as well and can do so. Saka forcing the ball forward back into the path of Palhinha. Now Tosin. Tosin from distance. Dragged it well wide there, Tosin. I don't know who told him to shoot, but I don't think he should have shot from that position. Well wide from that area. Well, one man who has come into the side for Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta wanted something. 13 touches for Eddie Nketiah so far in this half. Surely not what Arsenal would have wanted from their centre forward starting this game. Here's Willian. Former Arsenal player, of course, Willian, obviously. Plays the ball forward. Gabriel with a header clear. Rice. Pressure on the ball on Willian. Gabriel has to force it forward. White with a header. Odegaard does find it forward to Martinelli. Better from Arsenal in tight spaces, and they'll get the free kick because it was clipped at all the way there, Gabriel Martinelli, and that will be a free kick to Arsenal on the verge of 45 minutes And we will have 4 added minutes at the end of the half then. So 4 added minutes at the end of this first half, which has been fairly even, if we had to say the very least. It has been even. Here's Saka. Overlapping was Ben White, but Robinson knew that the pass was coming and blocked it. Saka wins it back though. Ødegaard trying to find bodies in the middle, but there was no one there. And Fulham get it cleared. Try and play it up the pitch. Lovely touch by Jimenez. Willian. Now Jimenez to make the run in behind, but Raya knew the deal there, knew the score, and got the ball away. Bit end to end to finish the half then. Here's Kivior. Ødegaard. Forward to Nketiah, making the run off the defenders and puts the ball across. Tried to strike it across goal, but struck it wide. Did Eddie Nketiah. Better from Arsenal, more direct. You think he was offside anyway. Eddie Nketiah just made the run slightly too early. And he was going to be in an offside position nonetheless, if it had found the back of the net, which it didn't. So goal kick, or free kick, whatever one. Whatever Fulham choose. Still, Tottenham 1, Bournemouth 0, by the way. In that one, Pap Sarr getting the goal for Spurs. But since then, Bournemouth have had double the amount of shots of Spurs. 5 shots for the home side, 10 for Bournemouth, but nothing doing. Only 1 on target for Bournemouth so far. So Bournemouth still very much competitive in that one. Spurs 1, Bournemouth 0 at the moment. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Here's Eddie Nketiah, sorry. He's broke down the left-hand side, but has to give it back to Gabriel. Nice Saliba. White. Looking for options. Fulham covering the pitch nicely. Saliba. Declan Rice. Saka on the right-hand side, up against Robinson again. Looking to take on Robinson, puts the ball in, does find it to Ødegaard at the byline, cuts it back, body's in there, but no one can get a good connection to it. Gabriel Martinelli has to grasp it, but he can only give it back to Gabriel under pressure. Rice, nice from Declan Rice, good touch. Take it away from his marker there, João Palhinha. Better from Arsenal. Saliba, now Ødegaard. Here's Kivior in the middle. Ødegaard again. Jakub Kivior. Gabriel. Last minute of the 4 added in this first half. Here's Martinelli. Back in field to Rice. Rice from distance will strike, but high and wide from Declan Rice, and not a worry for Burnley in the end. Behind for the goal kick to Fulham. Well, I wouldn't say that Arsenal have been fantastic in this first half. Far from it. I'd say Fulham would actually have an argument to say they've been the better side at times in this one. Still a very, very even game at Craven Cottage. And Burnley to take this goal kick, and that will end the first half. Half time in this London derby, and it's Arsenal that aren't going into the break with a lead. They took the lead in the game through Bukayo Saka. Jimenez levelled it for Fulham. Since then it's been end to end. Very even first half, and that is what the scoreline shows. Fulham 1, Arsenal 1 at the break. Second half, or half-time analysis, sorry, coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Premier League Live on this New Year's Eve 2023 and half time at Craven Cottage. It's Fulham 1, Arsenal 1, a very even first half, you'd have to say, between the two teams in the end, both having their big chance taken in this first half, certainly. You have to say that between the two teams. Saka opened the scoring for Arsenal and then responded. Did a Raul Jimenez, his fifth goal in 7 appearances for Fulham this season. And he on the score sheet again and getting Fulham back level. I have to say, at times, Fulham looked the better team in that first half. Arsenal having the better quality and a lot more depth than Fulham, clearly. But I think Fulham, the way they've approached the game is actually quite impressive in what they've done against us. They've not tried to sit back and defend deep and kind of go for the approach of West Ham from the week. I mean, yeah, they were at the Emirates, different game, different kind of dynamics, different kind of ultimately the different outcome at the moment. But Fulham are going at Arsenal, not afraid to attack them, not afraid to put bodies forward and to create overloads and cause them issues defensively. And a really good cross by Tom Kearney, by the way, to set up the Raul Jimenez equaliser. Really good cross and a really good sweeping finish, right-footed, right across the goal from Raul Jimenez. A man certainly in good confidence. It's Fulham's first goal, as I mentioned, since that win against Everton in the League Cup. Their first league goal since the game against West Ham at the start of the month on the 10th of December. Carlos Vinicius scored Fulham's last league goal prior to Raul Jimenez. That was at 5-0 against West Ham back on the 10th of December. So Fulham not kind of breaking down after going 1-0 down. They kept in it, they've kept threatening, and they got their equaliser, which I have to say they fully deserved, because the way they responded to the Arsenal opener was actually quite excellent. They dominated more of the ball, they had more threatening opportunities, they were getting the ball wide for Willian and Decker Dover-Reid sometimes on that right hand side, but mostly down the left is where Fulham had their attacking opportunities in that first half, and that's where they found the space to try and cause the Arsenal players problems. And that's where the goal comes from that left hand side as well. But I mentioned it when I was speaking in the first half. Arsenal just can't seem to hold on to that lead as well as they did last season. When they got the lead, they kept it, they benefited of it, and they made it even better. Today, they took the lead and they kind of faltered out of the game. They kind of come under a lot of pressure, kind of crumbled a bit under that pressure, and didn't really kind of get themselves back into the game. Once Fulham got that equaliser, though, the game was more end-to-end, more 50-50, a lot more even then. Arsenal slightly edging it, I would have to say, but at the moment, still a very finely balanced game at Craven Cottage at the break. And either side can go on and win it, I would have to say. Either team have the opportunity to do that. And at half time, it is 1-1. Let's quickly run you through the stats then of that first half. Fulham had 7 shots to Arsenal's 8. 2 on target for Fulham, 3 on target for Arsenal. 56% possession for Arsenal to Fulham's 44, so Arsenal just edging it slightly. Fulham have had the only corner of the game. Both have had one big chance, which they've taken, of course. Arsenal having slightly more of the passes, 319 to Fulham's 253. 89% accuracy from Arsenal, 85% pass accuracy from Fulham, and they've both lost the ball 55 times in that first half, which is less than usual. Their XG, by the way, Fulham's is quite low, 0.55. Arsenal's XG 1.39. So based on the balance of play, Arsenal are quite equally performing their XG. They're quite comfortably performing it. Fulham slightly overperforming in terms of XG from that first half. So that is where we stand at the break at Craven Cottage. At the break, it's just gone half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's 7 added minutes at the end of that first half at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs are leading Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Pap Sarr's goal, the difference between the two sides in that first half. Bournemouth had more of the shots, 12 shots in that first half for Bournemouth, only just the one on target. Their XG is better than Spurs, double that of Spurs, 0.72 for Bournemouth. Spurs is 0.33, so Spurs well overperforming their XG at this moment in time and having that one goal lead. They've had more shots on target, Spurs, but definitely improvements needed. Bournemouth also hit the woodwork in that first half as well and had one counter-attack. And they've had a better passing accuracy than Spurs in that first half. 84% for Bournemouth to Spurs' 79%, so a bit low, especially for Ange Postecoglou. On that front, so the two games that are kicked off here at 2 o'clock on New Year's Eve are at the halfway point, and let's just have a look and see what difference that makes to the Premier League table. By the way, we're going to have a quick look at that before we tell you what's coming up in 2024 on LFS. I'm excited for this. Let's have a look then. This is the Premier League table as it stands then, with Arsenal currently drawing and Spurs drawing. Neither side kind of move very many places. Arsenal do move up to third, above Manchester City again, with a draw, a point ahead of them. Manchester City would have been were above them at the start of play on goal difference after their win against Sheffield United yesterday. They have a game in hand as well, Man City, on everybody else. So if Liverpool lose and Arsenal draw this weekend, if both Liverpool and Arsenal fail to win this weekend, Manchester City could be top when they play that game in hand against Brentford. All on level terms, but at the moment that's not the case. Spurs, their defeat to Brighton, but they've responded to that and are winning against Bournemouth. A really good finish by Pape Sarr. I'm just seeing the replay of it, on the edge of the box, right-footed, drags it across goal. Really good finish into the bottom left corner for Pape Sarr. Not the most amazing of kind of bits of goalkeeping, but they get it off, and Spurs have the lead in that one, which puts them 6 points clear of 6th place West Ham United, and that gap starting to show again between the top 5 and the rest of the top half of the Premier League table. In terms of the bottom half, Bournemouth and Fulham occupy 12th and 13th respectively at this moment in time, with both either losing and drawing. Fulham trying to get closer to Bournemouth, only a point closer with this result as it stands. And Bournemouth losing, of course, at the moment. Bournemouth can go back, close the gap to Wolves, back to just goal difference if they come back and win that one against Spurs, but not very likely, but who knows. Bournemouth in a very good form recently themselves. Fantastic recent form, unbeaten in the last 7 games. Bournemouth, their last defeat was against Manchester City, but since then they've beaten Newcastle, Sheffield United, drew with Villa, then beat Palace, Manchester United, Forest and Fulham. So in very good form, Bournemouth. Relegation threatened after that Man City defeat, but have pulled themselves well away from that, picking up a very good tally of points. That would be 20 points out of their last 19 points out of their last 21 available for them, Bournemouth, which is fantastic. So who knows, maybe come back on in the second half at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But still at the moment, it is 1-0 to Spurs at the break. Still to come this weekend, Liverpool against Newcastle gets us, and that's not the graphic we were meant to show you. Liverpool against Newcastle is tomorrow at 8 o'clock from Anfield to get 2024 underway in the Premier League. An absolute banger of a game to get it going for the new year, and Liverpool looking to get their first home win in 3 after winning all of their home games this season. They dropped points in their last 2 games at home, Liverpool, and they're looking to respond to that. Well, coming up this January on LFS then, we have some exciting games. The 3rd round of the FA Cup next midweek, as we have some exciting ties, and Arsenal face Liverpool again. That's at the Emirates this time. That's on Sunday the 7th of January, before Wigan host Manchester United on the Monday night. We have the League Cup semi-finals as well, Middlesbrough and Chelsea, and Liverpool against Fulham to keep an eye on. That's on the 9th and 10th, and the 22nd and 23rd, I believe, or 23rd, 24th, something around that, at the end of January. Then we have a lot of Premier League football with the NFL playoffs as well throughout January, the AFC, NFC wildcard, the division games, and also a lot to look forward to there in the NFL before the end of January as well. A lot of Premier League action throughout January, including Liverpool, Chelsea, Brighton and Wolves, exciting game. Arsenal, Crystal Palace, as well to look forward to. Manchester United, Tottenham is an exciting one. That's Sunday the 14th of January. And Everton, Aston Villa on that day. What a super Sunday that is. Through February, of course, we have the Champions League returning back in February. And also the Super Bowl on Sunday the 11th of February here in LFS. 2 minutes to the second half gets underway at Craven Cottage. We'll be back very shortly for the second 45. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half time at Craven Cottage. It is Fulham 1, Arsenal 1 at the break. The second half is about to get underway, about a minute or so, and Arsenal are going to make a change for the second 45. Takehiro Tomiyasu is coming on in the defence, and he's going to replace Jakub Kiwior. The change, Kiwior came in for the injured Alexander Zinchenko at left back, but Mikel Arteta wanted something different, and Tomiyasu will be that difference. He is hoping for the second half is going to get underway in a moment. He's jogging his way across the field at the moment. A bit of a straggler is Mikel Arteta here. Trying to get back underway. All the players ready to go. And almost ready to get back underway then here. Very exciting first half, a very even first half. Can either of these two sides turn off a good first half performance into a good final result and turn 1 point into 3? Well, a bit of a false start. Josh Smith will reset us all and get us back underway, and here we are going again at Craven Cottage. Fulham attacking from right to left. Arsenal, of course, left to right in the second half here at Craven Cottage. Here's Declan Rice with Arsenal looking to get 3 points to head back to the top of the Premier League table, and Fulham looking to get their first win since first win in 4 since that home win against West Ham a good few weeks ago. Will anybody kind of convert this half-time point into 3, or will they be unmatched, be very well matched and unable to separate either side in the second half? We will see. Goal kick for Fulham then. Saka tried to make a move forward there, but well cut out by Fulham, and it will be a goal kick. Taken long by Bernleno. Rice wins the first header, brought down by Havertz. Ball forward down the left for Martinelli. Nice first touch, but Castagna had his marker and got him back. Iwobi Blocked off by the referee there, it will be. Arsenal have it back. Rice. Now here's Martinelli, right-footed. Wide. Josh Smith got in the way of Alex Iwobi there to try and win the ball. Arsenal then got the possession from it. It's getting a bit of a boo from around Craven Cottage. I mean, the referee, he just gets in the way. And I think now Marco Silva is complaining to the fourth official. Well, not complaining, but having a chat with the fourth official this afternoon. Tim Robinson, he has to get an earful. Rightfully so, though. Here's Tom Kearney. Now Robinson. Cross from the left. All the way through. Arsenal don't recover it. Jimenez. Now Iwobi on the edge of the box. Trying to take a strike. Blocked away. And cleared away by Arsenal. Better from Fulham. Bassey. To Kearney. Now Willian. Back to Kearney again. Robinson. Willian coming in field. Back to Bassey. Kearney on the left hand side. He's coming in field now. Gives it across to Tossin. Back to Castagna, who has to go back to Burnley now. Well, we currently have our best of 2023 has been uploaded 8 minutes ago. It came out 3 o'clock on New Year's Eve, and you can go and watch that now on LFS. As Fulham have the ball in the box here, and pressure on the Arsenal defence. And really good from Timothy Castagna. Arsenal wanted a foul, but the referee, Josh Smith, lets it run. Deckard over Reed made the run, crossed into the box, clipped away by Saliba, but really good from Castagna. Put the pressure on. Gabriel went down. He wanted a foul, but the referee's given a corner. Chance for Fulham from the right-hand side. Cross in, right-footed. Headed away by Martinelli, I think that was. And now Arsenal trying to break. Well dealt with by Fulham. But Saka has it back, and Nketiah receives it on the left-hand side. And pressure on Tomiyasu, but he keeps the ball and feeds it forward for Nketiah. But really good slide and challenge by Timothy Castagna. And he will give away an Arsenal throw. He wanted the throw in there, Castagna, and he made it very clear to the referee using some choice words. Carefully chosen words from Timothy Castagna. Throw in from the left-hand side. Taken down quickly by Arsenal. Rice has to go back to Saliba. All the Arsenal outfield players inside the Fulham half. Trying to maintain the control of the ball. Saka. White to Saliba. Back to Ben White. Getting support from the away fans here, Arsenal. Helping their side along. Second half underway at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well, where Spurs are leading Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Any updates from that one we'll let you know. If anything changes there, Bournemouth have had more of the shots than Spurs, but only one on target. Need to be more accurate. I'm sure that's what Andoni Iraola said at half time. Ange Postecoglou would have wanted better from his side as well. We'll see who comes out the better in the second half there in North London. That's given away by Arsenal, a bit sloppy in possession, although Palhinha caught on the ball, but he was fouled by Martin Odegaard in the process, and referee gives a free kick to Fulham there. I thought Palhinha had just been caught out. Just as I was mentioning, Arsenal sloppy on the ball. Yeah, it is a foul. He goes back to kick it forward, Palhinha, and Odegaard takes out that foot, and that is a foul. Didn't win the ball cleanly there, the Arsenal captain, and Fulham have the free kick from it. Willian receives it from Bassey. Back to Kelvin Bassey. Burnley, no. Well, Willian's already scored against one of his former sides here in a good 2-1 win for Fulham last season. That was against Chelsea when he scored a beautiful curling goal past the then Chelsea keeper. I have no idea who the Chelsea keeper was then. Kepa? Robert Sanchez? One of them. Really good from him on that day. Ben White. Ødegaard. Martin Ødegaard. Rice now out wide to White. White with a deep cross. Too deep, that one from Ben White. And that's behind for a goal kick. 7 minutes gone of the second half, and 1-1 it remains, but Arsenal not coming any closer to taking the lead there. 1-1 it remains. I mean, the second half really hasn't got started going yet. It's still quite, I don't know, the rhythm isn't there, the momentum isn't there. Neither side can really carry a bit of dominance, a bit of control, a bit of constant pressure. Both sides are either giving it away or taking pop shots or just not getting the rhythm that they need to try and take a lead. And maybe it will just come from one moment. We need a bit of energy in this second half. Here's Ødegaard to try and deliver it. No. Ben White. Now Tomiyasu kind of pulled and hauled at there by Jimenez, but he kept the ball. The referee has played the advantage. Not that there was much of a foul in it, to be fair. Tomiyasu. Now out to Martinelli on the left hand side. Back to Gabriel. Saliba. Backwards and sideways for Arsenal is the watchword at the moment, really. Saka. Some call it dominance on the ball. I call it waiting for a mistake. And that's what happened there with Saka. Decordova-Reid wins it back. Castagna battling with Kai Havertz, who himself has been a bit of a passenger in this game, Kai Havertz. You talk about the lack of touches that Eddie Nketiah had. I mean, Kai Havertz hasn't really been massively involved as well. When he has been, he's been getting the passes off that he needs to, but I mean, there's not been an injection of energy really from Arsenal in midfield. They've just kind of marauded it around and tried to create the perfect goal. I mean, sometimes that works, sometimes it works a treat against the side, but I mean, so far today it's just not worked. Arsenal just needs something. You can see it. When they get on the ball, they want something to happen, but there's just a lack of movement. Either it's a lack of movement or a lack of energy, or they don't get the pass off, or certain things just not clicking for Arsenal at the moment. And they need them to click for them to get into top gear, but that's what I mean by their kind of free-flowing, goal-scoring form of last season. They're just not at that level this season in front of goal. It was almost like a sixth sense. They knew where each player was going to be. It was like clockwork for Arsenal last season attacking. They were incredible at it, and they mixed it up beautifully. And every single time they knew where they needed to be, and they knew how to keep the pressure on teams. So far, it's a bit same. Have the ball at the back, play it sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. Have the ball wide to a winger every now and again through Martinelli or Saka. They try and come in field to try and add a bit of threat, and then the opposition win the ball back. I mean, it's slow, far too slow from Arsenal. Ødegaard. Here's Rice. He got into a good space. Tomiyasu gives it away. Jimenez trying to hold it up. Well, one back by Saliba. Gabriel. Maybe this is the bit of energy that Arsenal need. Martinelli. No. Gives it away to Palhinha. Just when you think Arsenal might have something, they just either give it away or mess it up. Saliba. Gabriel. Arsenal trying to come forward again. Declan Rice. Switches it out to the right. Saka. Closely marked by Robinson. Has to go back to White. Rice to Ødegaard. Rice on the halfway line. So give it out to the left-hand side. Gabriel switching sides, going for the ball over the top to Martinelli, but that one's overhit by the Arsenal centre-back and behind for a goal kick. Just seen another good opportunity for Bournemouth. Dominic Solanke. It's a move down the left-hand side from Bournemouth. Just seen a replay of it. Breaking forward, gets it across, and Solanke was trying to get across the Spurs defender. Got a corner out of it there. So Bournemouth still threatening. Lovely chest by Jimenez into the path of Iwobi. Gives it wide. Decordova-Reid with a cross, and Arsenal had to get ahead to it and headed it behind for a corner to Fulham. Gabriel with the definitive header there, and a bit of argument between Gabriel and Declan Rice there. Confusion between the two Arsenal players. They're not incredibly happy with each other. Declan Rice not incredibly happy with Gabriel about that header. Not seen that from Arsenal very often, where they are at each other's throats, but maybe that'll help them. Fulham corner, right-footed, delivery. Oh, just away. I think Nketiah trying to find Martinelli on the break, but Iwobi wins it back. Lovely turn of pace there from Castagna. Now Kearney. Overlapping is Willian with a cross, and another Arsenal header. Puts it behind for another Fulham corner. Tomiyasu this time heads it behind. Better from Fulham. Fulham need to capitalise upon the fact that Arsenal really aren't at their top form, aren't performing at their best, and Fulham need to make the most of it and capitalise. They have a corner to do so. Bodies in the box for Fulham. 6 of them around the 18-yard box. Willian over to take the corner from the right-hand side. Willian, right-footed delivery all the way through. Polina was the closest, bouncing around, and it's in! The flag stays down, and Bobby Decordova-Reid turns it around, and Fulham take the lead for the very first time in the game, and Fulham do capitalise upon poor Arsenal play. All of their own doing, Arsenal. Mistakes at the back, they're just not able to get it away. They have to head it behind for the corner. Willian with the delivery. Polina gets the first connection to it. Rice can't clear it the first time. I think it's Gabriel that tries to clear it, hits it off the face of Tomiyasu, it bounces down, and Bobby Decordova-Reid is the first one to react, and Fulham take the lead. Fulham 2, Arsenal 1. Poor again from Arsenal, but perfect for Fulham. 3 straight defeats in the Premier League, and they could have a statement win on the cards here against a team that were looking to go back top of the Premier League table. Fulham 2, Arsenal 1. And Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal manager, wants more from his team. Not happy at all with how his team are performing at the minute. Mikel Arteta, he made that change at half-time. Kivior coming off for Tomiyasu. And Fulham end up benefiting from the ball deflecting off the face of Takahiro Tomiyasu and into the path of Decordova-Reid. 60 minutes gone, 30 to go, and Arsenal have to come from behind to try and win a game again. They had the lead through Saka. Jimenez levelled it before Decordova-Reid puts Fulham in front and turns the game completely on its head. And I mean, it's been coming. I've mentioned it in the first half. Fulham the more threatening of the two teams. Arsenal just look a bit flat when they're coming forward. They don't look like they know what they need to be doing, or their positions, or what kind of transitional movements they need to be making. And Fulham have to seem to have them covered time and time again. This could be 3 defeats in 5 for Arsenal in the Premier League. Villa, West Ham, and Fulham could be the third. They did win against Brighton and got a draw against Liverpool though, which will be positive, but I mean, 4 points from a possible 15 is not good for title form anyway. Saka receives the ball at the byline, cuts it back for Rice. Better response from Arsenal, but Rice's ball is cut out by Fulham and they clear their lines. Get the ball away. Declan Rice. We talk about form this season. Fulham have a good home form. A bit in and out at home, up and down. 6 wins it would be if they win this one. Before this game they had 5 wins and 4 defeats at home. Haven't drawn a home game this season. Fulham, so it was unlikely that it was going to stay 1-1 based on their home form this season. Fulham, in terms of Arsenal's away form, one of the best teams in the league away from home, sitting 4th on the away form table. 17 points away from home in 9 games. 5 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. Spurs, Liverpool and Man City, the only 3 teams better away from home than Arsenal this season. 17 points out of a possible 30 away from home is positive from Arsenal, but at the moment they won't be positive about this. Cross from the left hand side, and Saka gets an opportunity at it, but completely forces it well wide and over the bar. Didn't take the opportunity when it fell for him, Saka. It's a cross from the left hand side. Martinelli, right footed. Everyone thought it was going to be headed away and cleared, but the header, Bassey and Robinson both get a clear header on it. Ball bounces up in the air and it falls for Saka at the back post. He just strike right through the ball, but balloons it behind for a goal kick. Didn't take the opportunity when it came for him, Saka, and that's a big mistake. There's an issue at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There's a VAR check ongoing, but in the moment, we'll tell you about it in a second. There's a cross from Iwobi. Almost found its way through to Jimenez, but Arsenal able to scramble it away. But again, Fulham recover it really, really nicely. And putting pressure on the Arsenal defence again. Gabriel has it back. Rice. Mistake by Declan Rice, trying to force the ball forward, gives it away to Willian. Here's Willian. Couldn't get the ball forward. Couldn't keep it for very long, and then the free kick goes against Fulham. Arsenal will have a free kick. There was a VAR check ongoing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs wanted a penalty for a challenge on Giovanni Lo Celso, but VAR cleared that. No penalty, and the game will play on without any worry. Oh, Decador Reed slipping over there, but he did get the ball away. Only as far as Tomiyasu though. Havertz, Gabriel, Rice. Maybe that goal for Fulham was exactly what Arsenal needed, the kick up the backside that they needed. Saka trying to turn away from Kearney, and that'll be a free kick to Fulham. Kearney with the pull, taking out Bukayo Saka, and that will be a good free kick in a good area for Arsenal as well. And Tom Kearney goes into the book, the first player to be booked this afternoon. Tom Kearney is first of the season actually, which is quite rare at this point of the season for a player that plays so many games. Very central, this free kick. Around about, if I did take a guess, about 25 yards. A bit further maybe. Trying to gauge it from this angle. Ødegaard is the man standing over it. Of course he's going to go directly from the free kick. It's going to be a direct. But Ødegaard, the Fulham wall is set up on the left hand side of their goal. Ødegaard is kind of setting it up as if he's going to use his left. He's kind of angling it that way. We'll see if he can. Whistle goes. Ødegaard steps back. Rice is lurking though. Ødegaard was the last to touch it. Ødegaard to take it left footed and wide from the Arsenal captain. He knew he was going to use his left and try and find that left corner, but couldn't get it on target, and that goes behind for a Fulham goal kick. Which means Arsenal are going to make changes. Their first of which is going to be Leandro Trossard, I think. And Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Jesus both coming on. So double change from Arsenal incoming. Trossard coming on for Martinelli. And Ben White coming off. And he's going to be replaced by Gabriel Jesus. So they're not going to go for a like-for-like swap. They're going to go three at the back. Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu, and put another attacking body forward. And go two up top, which is rare in this day and age. Very 1990s, 2000s football there from Mikel Arteta. And if it works, he'll not care. It's all about getting the result now for Arsenal, having that extra threat up top. We'll put more pressure on Fulham, but we'll also give them more opportunities. With now Arsenal playing a back three, more space, and Jimenez trying to make the most of it initially. Gabriel couldn't win it back. Iwobi finds it to Kearney. Bassey, will Fulham change their approach? Who knows? Arsenal change the formation. Go for a different type of attacking approach. And Fulham, how will they respond to that? Well, they've given the ball away there. Havertz. Chested down by Trossard. Well, one back by João Palhinha. Really good play, but the ball forward to Jimenez. It was coming back from an offside position. Free kick Arsenal. So 22 minutes plus additional time to go. So less than a quarter of the game to go for Arsenal to turn round a deficit once again. 2-1 down to Fulham. I mentioned this will be Fulham's first win against Arsenal at home since January 2012. Well, as I mentioned, almost 12 years ago, and they did win 2-1 on that day. Their last win against Arsenal in any ground was that win back in 2012. It's their only win since August 2008. So only win against Arsenal in 15 years. That win against win at Craven Cottage back in 2012. I want to add to that this afternoon. Kearney in a good position to do so. Arsenal not able to come back and threaten West Ham in the second half. They were 1-0 down to West Ham at half time on Thursday night. Tried to push for it. West Ham cut up the other end, counter-attacking. Got the corner, and Mavropanos made it 2-0 to West Ham, and that was really game over at that point. Wrapped it all up, but Arsenal only a 1-goal deficit. Game is certainly closer. It's been a very even game, but Fulham, I would say, have to have edged it in the second half, and they've got the goal that shows that. Arsenal a bit sloppy on the ball. Sloppy on the ball again there. Kearney. Back to Tussin. Wide for Castagna. Closed down there by Arsenal, but not pressed very much. Castagna goes back to Leno. Leno with the long ball forward. Jimenez the target. Actually, he was the decoy. Deckard-over-Reed was the target. Palhinha with the ball over the top. Running through is Iwobi. Takes a nice touch away from Saliba. Through the middle. Here's Jimenez. Trying to carry it forward. Does. Jimenez trying to go for the Rabona. Kearney! Not too far away. Still in play there, and Fulham will... The flag's up. Against who, though? Jimenez. Shocking. Took a long time for the assistant to put the flag up. Tried to go for the Rabona on the edge of the box there, that Jimenez didn't come off. Fell to Kearney. He had a very good strike against David Raya. He had to parry it, but in the end there was an offside flag. And Fulham are going to make a change themselves after that double change from Arsenal. Andreas Pereira is going to come on and replace Alex Iwobi. Thorn in the Arsenal defence all afternoon, Alex Iwobi. And fresh legs of Andres Pereira, who's got a good delivery from set pieces. And also a very good carrier of the ball. Let's see what he can offer in the final 20 minutes for Fulham to try and carry them through. To give them a massive 3 points it would be against Arsenal. Of course, it would be the first time this season that Arsenal would have lost back-to-back games in the Premier League. Lost 3 games already this season in the Premier League. All 3 of those losses, actually, they failed to score in all of those. Newcastle away, Aston Villa away, and then at home to West Ham on Thursday night. Their 3 league defeats. It would be their first time back-to-back defeats in the league this season if they do lose this one. And back-to-back London derbies as well. Declan Rice. But they've 18 minutes plus the additional time to change that. Arsenal. Gabriel. Wide to the left is Trossard. Cross into the box. Body's there, but Fulham get it away. And Kearney with the follow-up. Jimenez does well. Pereira. Good quick feet. Almost lost the ball. Jimenez fires it forward. Target Willian. Lovely infield touch by Willian. Back to Robinson. A bit of a sticky position there for them for a moment, but they made it work and keep the ball. And Robinson beating past Saka. Down the left-hand side, Robinson trying to carry it to the corner flag, but could only carry it out of play. Goal kick. Arsenal. Fulham will certainly feel they've been the better team. Less possession, but just the one more shot. Still a very even kind of affair, but Fulham 12 shots, 11 for Arsenal. 4 on target for Fulham, 3 for Arsenal. Fulham have had much more of it in the second half. 2 on target in the second half for Fulham. Not a single shot on target for Arsenal in the second half so far. And the rain is streaming down at Craven Cottage now from nowhere. It is absolutely teeming it down at Craven Cottage. So maybe that'll add an extra factor to the game. Here's Tomiyasu. Saliba. Rice again. To Odegaard, blocked off, cleared away by Robinson, back in field by Rice. Tomiyasu, Declan Rice. Saliba gets away from the Fulham press. Rice again. Arsenal give it away. Declan Rice's ball. Lovely spin and turn by Pereira there. Gets away from Havertz. Kearney. Now Willian on the left-hand side. Waiting for the run of Kearney. Tom Kearney did make the run, and Gabriel Jesus back to help out defensively for Arsenal. Saka wins it back. Odegaard caught on the ball, but did get it back to Rice in time. Well, I mentioned at half-time that Arsenal would be just above Manchester City with a draw. A defeat would have them behind Manchester City on goal difference, and City would have a game in hand over Arsenal. So not the result that they really need at this point of the season, but of course still a long, long way to go. Only crossed the halfway mark in their last round of fixtures. 71 minutes gone at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it's still Spurs who lead Bournemouth by a goal to nil. I'll update you on the stats in that one. Bournemouth have had another shot on target, but only 1 on target. Spurs haven't had anything really in the second half. Only 1 shot for Spurs in the second half. Very little in terms of attack and play in that one, and that is why it still remains 1-0 in that one. Any updates if anything changes there? Less than 15 minutes to go at Craven Cottage. Fulham leading Arsenal by 2-1 and looking for a very good victory against Arsenal for the first time in 12 years. And the rain is absolutely pelting it down. I mean, it's skipping off the roofs of the Craven Cottage kind of terraces. I mean, it's proper winter weather. And Arsenal going to make another change. Kai Havertz this time, replaced by Reece Nelson, so an extra centre forward, an extra attacking player, of course, onto the pitch, and another body to commit forward for Arsenal, getting more and more desperate for it as the clock ticks on. And the referee is actually going to give a yellow card to Calvin Bassey here for delaying the play. A bit of time wasting from Bassey. Looked like he was going to take the free kick for Fulham, but then walked away from it. And now Bernd Leno was taking it, and that gets Calvin Bassey his second yellow card of the season. Leno with a long ball out. Headed away by Arsenal. Dealt with. Fulham trying to keep the ball up the pitch, but give away the throw-in. Well, so far, it's been Fulham that have been able to kind of hold firm since they took the lead. I mean, remember, Arsenal took the lead early in the game. Fulham responded well, got the equaliser. Then Arsenal responded well after Fulham equalised and had the better end of the half. But since Fulham have taken the lead, Arsenal have really struggled to get back into the game and struggled to really put pressure on the Fulham defence. An update from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to tell you about. I mentioned that Spurs had only had one shot in the second half. Well, they have their first shot on target of the half, and it's Heung-min Son to finish it. And when he gets a shot on target, there's only going to be one outcome: a goal. And Heung-min Son, beautiful goal inside of the right post from a tight angle from Heung-min Son, and he has his 12th Premier League goal of the season. Only Erling Haaland has more Premier League goals than Son this season, so a very, very tight Golden Boot race at the halfway stage, none of which concerns Arsenal at this moment in time. They want to get the result. Rice with the deep cross in, and no risks taken by Castagna, who heads it straight behind for the corner. Smart play from Timothy Castagna. And Fulham are going to make another change. And Willian is going to be the man that's making way, so he won't get a goal against his old club. I'm going to make a double change, actually. Willian coming off, so as I mentioned, no goal against his old club for him today. And Bobby De Cordova-Reid, the man who could have the winner, is also making way. Issa Diop and Harry Wilson are coming on, so an extra defender in there as well for Fulham to help out to try and carry this result through. Diop and Wilson coming on for Willian and De Cordova-Reid. Arsenal have the corner, left hand side. Trossard with the delivery, right footed, doesn't beat the first man, and now Fulham can try and get a counter attack through Pereira, but well won back by Odegaard. Here's Trossard, deep one into the box again, and Jesus just wide, and then couldn't get a connection on it. Gabriel at the back post, wide from Arsenal. Really good delivery by Leandro Trossard. Jesus was close. I think it was Bassey that got the final touch on it, maybe. See this again? Oh, it actually just goes all the way through. No one can get a definitive clear touch on the ball, and somehow it goes all the way through and behind for the goal kick. But a massive moment that for Arsenal. Really good opportunity. And now Marco Silva is again offering his penny's worth to Tim Robinson, giving him having a good conversation there with the fourth official. Is Marco Silva. Into the last 10 minutes at Craven Cottage. Fulham 2, Arsenal 1. And since Bukayo Saka opened the scoring, Arsenal have had just one shot on target since that Saka goal. One shot on target. Fulham, in comparison, have had 4 shots on target. I mean, that is really shocking. Considering they had 3 shots on target in the first 5 minutes. Oh, here's Saka though. Takes a block. Really good block on the strike. Goes down, Saka. Kept alive by Arsenal. Trossard. And then the clearance. dealt with, and a free kick will go Fulham's way. Not to the likeness of the Arsenal players or the fans. It's Tomiyasu. Really good ball in behind. Really good battling with Saka with Robinson. Makes the run in, feeling in a fantastic challenge by João Palhinha. Had to make it. The Saka was through in on goal. And putting his body on the line, João Palhinha. And got in the way of that Saka shot. And Fulham got it clear and got a free kick from it. From the attacking phase there. Kearney. Tried to play it over the top. Runs out for an Arsenal throw in. So Fulham still hanging in the balance. Arsenal still threatening. They'll get another free kick here, Fulham, actually. Tomiyasu this time fouling Andreas Pereira, so a free kick for Fulham. Fulham still in the balance. Arsenal still threatening to find an equaliser, but still Fulham lead. And Spurs much more comfortable at the TH in North London. It is Spurs 2, Bournemouth 0 at the moment. It'll be Bournemouth's first win in 8 games, or first defeat, sorry, since that defeat to Manchester City 8 games ago. 7 games unbeaten for Bournemouth, winning 6 out of those 7. An incredible run of form, but that might come to an end at Spurs today. Free kick for Fulham. Pereira with the delivery, right-footed, headed away by Saliba. Robinson chested down by Pereira. Tried to play it down the line. Closest to it was Calvin Bassey battling. Still battling. Wins the ball, Bassey. Pereira gives it away though. Saliba trying to carry it forward. Saka waiting for it. Fulham get in the way and then the ball's in the box. Taken down by Jimenez. Looking for runners. Trying to find the cross in. Blocked off. And that will be a Fulham corner. Somehow a Fulham clearance turns into a Fulham attacking opportunity. I think it's Anthony Robinson with delivery. Beautiful. And then, well, Jimenez picks it up. Good control. Tried to find the cross. Wins the corner out of it. Jimenez will be another opportunity for Fulham. He scored from there, from a corner. Bit of a scrappy goal, but they got the goal nonetheless. Corner whipped in. Back post. Strike by Wilson. Hit the ground and completely miscued that one, Harry Wilson. And behind for the goal kick. Well, we have more action for you here on LFS on this New Year's Eve. We've NFL action, a cracker in the AFC between the Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. That's tonight, 6 o'clock on LFS. We'll have all the live updates from all of those games in the NFL this evening. Do stay with us for that. Looking forward to that one. And then the Premier League, 2 more games to come for you. Liverpool and Newcastle get New Year's Day underway. Hold on a second though. Here's Tom Kearney looking for the cross. Took his time. And really good defending by Gabriel Jesus back there to deny the corner for Fulham all the way back to Raya to try and get them forward. 3rd goal for Spurs wrapped up. A good New Year's present for their fans, but Arsenal looking to make North London a winning part of the city. They need to come back and win this one, as Fulham will take the crown for West London at this moment in time. Throw in for Arsenal on the right hand side. 5 minutes to go. 2-1 it remains to Fulham. And Arsenal looking down the barrel of back-to-back defeats for the first time this campaign. And that was poor from Odegaard. Straight out of play for a goal kick to Fulham. I mean, they're going to have a big kind of look at themselves, Arsenal, after this. If they do end up losing this game, they're going to have to really have a long, hard look at themselves and think, even when you're not playing well, title winning form is when you're not playing well, you have to win. And at the minute, when Arsenal aren't playing well, they're not winning. The 3rd goal for Spurs, by the way, 80th minute, Richarlison making it 3-0 to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Really good touch by Pereira. Through ball, held back there. Harry Wilson and William Saliba. Will be a yellow card for William Saliba. I think he had the cover there. I think Gabriel was on the cover. And that gets him away out of a red card, William Saliba. But a yellow it will be. Marco Silva's not happy. I think it is a yellow card. I mean, it's a lovely first header from the clearance. Taken down beautifully by Pereira. Tried to feed it through to the unrunning Harry Wilson, who's pulled back really quite clearly by William Saliba, holding the left arm of Harry Wilson, but I think it's a yellow because Gabriel was in the way, but unable to cover, but gets away with one there, William Saliba. Free kick Fulham on the edge of the box. And some would argue it's a goal scoring opportunity, but I wouldn't go that far. Edge of the box, Fulham free kick. And William Saliba getting away without having to leave the pitch. Only a yellow for him. His second yellow card of the season. And David Raya setting up his wall. What can Arsenal do with this? How will they deal with it, really? What can Fulham do? Wilson and Pereira over this free kick. It benefits the right foot of this angle. Wilson will leave it. Pereira will take it. Pereira hits the crossbar. Tussin trying to keep it alive. Pereira coming back in. Flicked on by Palhinha, but Arsenal get it away. Tussin, incredible header, wins it back. And Wilson does really well. Gets it back to Bernleno. But at this moment, with Fulham leading, it doesn't look likely that Arsenal are going to come back into this one. Fulham are more likely to score. It's more likely for 3-1 Fulham than 2-2, if anything. Here's Declan Rice, though. And he wins a corner off Calvin Bassey there. From one end to the other. So close for Andreas Pereira. Bombs its way off the crossbar, that free kick. Bukayo Saka to take this Arsenal corner. They're only their second of the afternoon. Into the last 2 minutes of normal time. Saka with the corner. Left-footed delivery. Doesn't beat the first man, but it's bouncing through. Bassey has to head it clear, and then Jimenez trying to get Fulham on the break. And here's a nice run through by Pereira. Bodies forward. Pereira trying to keep it alive. Puts it right across, but might actually work out here. Jimenez picks it up on the right-hand side. And good game management there from Fulham. Not to take the shot there from Pereira. Smart play to extend it. Bit of goals galore going on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now. Another goal. But Bournemouth have got this one. 3-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A very exciting end to that game in North London. There. Chance for Fulham again. Robinson with a deep cross. Gabriel gets a touch to it. Doesn't clear it away though, and Raul Jimenez will let that run for a throw-in. Really, really good from Fulham. I mean, they were working hard in the first half, offering a lot against Arsenal, offering a lot of hard work since that Arsenal opener, but the second half they've kicked on and Arsenal just haven't been able to match them. Their energy, their ability to win the battles, they've been so good from those positions. Fulham today in those situations and their ground and aerial duels. Good quick feet by Declan Rice. Skips away from a challenge. As Arsenal try and come forward, here's Tomiyasu. Into the last couple of seconds of the 90 minutes. We'll see how many minutes added on. With 5 added minutes at the end of this game then. 5 minutes. We had a bit of a shock last night in the Nottingham Forest Man United game. 10 added minutes at the end of the half. Not quite that here. 5 added on. 5 for Arsenal to try and rescue themselves. But at the moment, Fulham are holding firm and look to hold on to this lead. Bassey went down. Wanted the foul off Odegaard, but referee says no. Odegaard has it back. Rice. Now Tomiyasu. Saka on the right hand side. Left footed cross. Cleared away by Palhinha. Falls to Rice. Odegaard, much better from Arsenal, much more threatening. Saka, that's awful. Straight into the hands of Bernleno. That's all that Fulham could have asked for. A really poor delivery there by Saka the second time round. That Bournemouth goal, by the way, as I mentioned, Alex Scott that got that goal. 84 minutes gone, and Bournemouth will have, probably it's just a consolation at this late stage. Who knows? Maybe a late bit of drama at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium still to come. 3-1. Bit of head tennis in the middle. Fulham win the drop down, and Robinson with the ball forward. A run in behind from Jimenez, but the flag had gone up quite quickly there against Raul Jimenez. So a free kick will go the way of Arsenal, and Raul Jimenez will get a yellow card here. I think he's called for time wasting, trying to carry the ball forward and take the shot after he'd been called offside. So referee taking no prisoners there. Fulham going to make another change. It's going to be Harrison Reed, I think, that's coming on. It is Harrison Reed coming on. So Fulham going to switch their midfielders. Reed coming on for Tom Kearney. Kearney, who's been a big part of Fulham's strong performance today. 94% passing accuracy from Tom Kearney. One key pass, made one big chance, had a shot on target himself. He's been very involved and deserves a very good round of applause from the home fans. Jimenez got his third yellow card of the season there for that bit of time wasting. Here's Odegaard. 2.5 minutes to go for Arsenal. Odegaard. Cleared away by Tussin, that delivery from Odegaard. Rice has it back. Trossard. Nice Saliba. To Tomiyasu. Saka on the wide option. Robinson over to cover. Pereira there helping out. Saka cuts it back to Odegaard. Trossard. Odegaard delivers it again. Deep one into the box. Battling her Fulham, and they do get it away. Couple of headers. Saliba trying to head it back into the danger zone, but Robinson does well. Pereira back to Robinson. Can't keep the ball for long. Fulham. Tomiyasu has it back. Nice spin from Reece Nelson. Haven't said much about him or Jesus, and they've both been beaten off the ball. But run into trouble did Fulham there, and Harry Wilson. Tomiyasu. Nice Saka. Trying to conjure up a challenge, but he'll only get a corner off Anthony Robinson actually. After he initially blocked the Saka run. Saka will have the chance to deliver the ball. Fulham scored from a corner to take the lead. Can Arsenal respond from a set piece? Saka, left-footed delivery, right onto the middle and headed away by Fulham. Out for another corner. Quite clearly cleared of danger, but it got good height on that one from Saka. Very deep cross. Right into the mix. Was unsure as to head it. It was that close. Saka with another delivery right into the box. Flicked away by Tussin. Odegaard has it back. Saka again. Nice Saliba. More bodies committed for Arsenal now. Last chance saloon for them at this late stage. Trossard with a deep cross, but that is far too deep from Leandro Trossard, and that might be that for Arsenal. They're a bit of positive play there. Part of their best chances at keeping pressure on the Fulham defence all afternoon. But it comes to an end, and that probably sums up the afternoon from Arsenal. When they try and get going, they miscue a pass, misplace a ball, just aren't linking up as well as they should be. And this could be back-to-back defeats. Bernd Leno to take this goal kick. We've surpassed the 95 minutes. Just awaiting the final whistle from Josh Smith, the referee. Marco Silva's having a chat with the fourth official again. Leno taking his time, and he's gonna... I think he was booked there, Bernd Leno, for that bit of time wasting. Clears the ball up the pitch. No whistle yet. Saka, maybe they will have one more last opportunity, Arsenal. Trossard, dispossessed. Fulham get it away. Jimenez just overstepped it, but the last touch came off an Arsenal player. Throw in Fulham. And Marco Silva complaining to the fourth official. There's played a minute over the 95. Surely the final whistle should be seconds away. sure it will be. Referee getting it going. And there's the final whistle. Back-to-back defeats for Arsenal. 2 opportunities to go back top of the table to take Liverpool off the summit, but they couldn't do it. 2 occasions, 2 London derbies, back-to-back defeats for the first time this season for Arsenal. Dismal from them today. They've been nowhere near the level in the last few weeks. Since that draw at Anfield, they've struggled to really get back to their winning ways. And Fulham capitalise upon the opportunity. Bobby De Cordova-Reid getting the winner. A scrappy goal nonetheless from Fulham, but they all count, and it means Fulham pick up 3 points against Arsenal for the first time in almost 12 years. 2012 was the last time Fulham beat Arsenal in any Premier League game, and it's now back-to-back defeats for the Gunners, which will certainly not appease the Arsenal fans, who Arsenal find themselves 4th and a very tight danger with other teams around that top 4. Arsenal wanted to go back top for the new year. They were top at Christmas, but ever since then they have been anything but top. Arsenal beaten again, and Fulham the victors this time. No wins in 3 for Fulham, but they've beaten the dismal Gunners at Craven Cottage. Final score from West London: Fulham 2, Arsenal 1.